self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator. The idea that all of us are created equally under God has been held true for centuries. Our founding fathers were gentlemen who held noble intentions for their new nation's citizens. But what happens if through the future application of current advances in biotechnology via human genetic engineering, or HGE, all men are not created equal? What happens when some are created to be better in every way than everyone else? Would the presence of this Neosapien race pose a threat? Would they look down on us as if we were cavemen? Would they then be able, with their advanced intelligence, to create even more advanced beings? Would they be brave enough to? Could they be the key, with their advanced intelligence, to unlocking our other important scientific advances like nanotechnology, or remedying our diseases like AIDS and cancer, etc.? Should we apply this technology, even though we know it would be a biological singularity, a point of no return? Is turning from natural selection to artificial selection playing God? Or is it a natural and inevitable step in our own evolution? Wouldn't they still be human? Wouldn't it be philanthropic to rid the world of disease and disorder? I've done enough research on this subject that I feel confident in telling you that HGE has been a part of my dissertation since high school. Much like our founding fathers, we have a responsibility to our future generations, Neo and Homo sapien alike, to ensure that this scientific advancement is undertaken with utmost morality and ethics, with the best intentions, and before any evil communist nation beats us to it. The biotechnology revolution is already well underway. The United States of America must lead the world in research, development, and application of human genetic engineering to ensure it is done ethically. The first thing we must do to facilitate this endeavor is, as a society, answer these and the many more questions with open debate and discourse. The next step is scientific research and development, R&D, in and experimentation with HGE. And finally, there must be drafted careful controls of and responsible regulations on any implementation of the technology. First and foremost, before we complete any applications and while we are currently researching, there must be consensus among our citizens as to the many aspects of our subject. There's already a raging debate encompassing every point of HGE. The most notable one is on the theological front, that HGE is playing God. As noted in the introduction of Current Controversies book on genetic engineering, if HGE is playing God, and if this is wrong, then I propose abolishing all vaccination and inoculation, etc., and relying only on home remedies. Of course, if your home remedy doesn't work, or even works too well, or if we just don't like the way you look, then we can burn you at the stake. In fact, while we are reversing our modern scientific advances in medicine, let's remember that we, at least I know I, am at the center of the universe. Actually, even that is just heretical silliness, because we all know the world is flat. Debate on whether or not HGE is ethical or not will continue and intensify. As clearly stated in the introduction of L.R. Crass and J.Q. Wilson's The Introduction, The Ethics of Human Cloning. This is exactly what needs to happen. It must be done. To reasonably understand the many issues concerning our topic is a prerequisite that will require an investment of much time and effort before we can reasonably move on to the next phase. And that next step is already partially underway. Research yet to be fully developed, HGE will require experimentation. The 8th edition of our current biology book, textbook, states that cloning single genes for analysis has ushered in an era of unprecedented research advancement. As this is the case, then it justifies not only further R&D, but the aforementioned debate must be undertaken concurrently. Dr. Michael W. Fox noted in his book, Beyond Evolution, that laboratories globally have seen a bioexplosion. The fact that the biotechnology revolution is encompassing the whole world, not just the US and our allies, makes this an imperative national security issue. Being pertinent to the nation as a whole, next I'll illustrate how such a powerful new technology brings with it much legislation, etc. The lead word on this subject is Dr. F. Fukuyama, who in 2002 was appointed to the President's Council on Bioethics. Now remember, GW was not stem cell research friendly. When he wrote in his exceptionally brilliant book, Our Post-Human Future, that new technologies are always frightening at first, and so create instant consensus on at least the necessity to create political controls over the development and use. He cites nuclear technology as an example where this happened historically. It is noted in an Opposing Viewpoints series book on genetic engineering how Stephen Stitch, a professor of philosophy and cognitive science at Rutgers University, advocates the formation of an independent body of scientists, religious leaders, ethicists, and others, probably politicians, corporate leaders, military officers, people that stand to actually benefit monetarily from the technology, to study genetic engineering and increase the public's education of the benefits of HGE. This goes even further than the collective that ran the Manhattan Project, and is necessary due to the ramifications on humanity worldwide. Before I conclude, I would like to summarize by highlighting via a small compilation of Google image search results on HGE some of the nuances of genetic engineering. Right, stem cell research and regeneration, one of the options available in modern advanced science. This is an artist's rendition of a chimera, what's called human-animal hybrids. There's nearly infinite variations. One good example of the illustration is Dr. Moreau's island. Curved kiwi, protein and potassium. It's good for you. While genetic engineering has already been applied to agriculture, it hasn't gone turkey yet, alluding to the probability that only the rich will be able to afford to have designer babies, depicting the irony of praying to God in thanks of scientific advancement. Nobody's perfect, but we're working on it. The obligatory sperm reference in all my speeches. Finally, the most important reason to lead the way in applied human genetics. Cloning lots of smart, strong people. I am confident that we can all agree when I say that we must continue to collectively construct and converse about this creative crisis. It is paramount that we prioritize, ponder, and predict all the probable possibilities of this potentially paradigm-changing predicament through rigorous research. All while we are required to reasonably write rules and regulations and restrictions relative to right and wrong. The United States of America must lead the world in research, development, and application of human genetic engineering to ensure it is done ethically. The effects of the biotechnology revolution will have a greater impact on global human civilization in the genetic age than the global thermonuclear warfare weapons of the atomic age, than mass production had during the Industrial Revolution, and than our own moral and ethical ideals had during our own revolution. I personally pose one final question: what it would be like as Neosapiens that are endowed by their creators with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and not just the pursuit of, but the possession of happiness.